right, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Psycho's Platters, always powered by coffee each and every time. That's right. I've had people go off and ask me about this. I have had people in private messages and IMs and emails, truthfully, giving me all different kinds of suggestions for future episodes of Jukebox from Hell. But today, we are looking at episode 13. That's 13 on the scorecard if you're following up here. This album was kindly donated to me by George Lopez, who is the head of the YouTube channel, George, Music for All Four Seasons. I encourage you to like and subscribe his channel because it is awesome. And not only that, he literally is the biggest Four Seasons fan I think I've ever known in my existence anyway. So we are looking today at the January 1969 album, the concept album from the Four Seasons, Genuine Imitation Life Gazette. That's right. I've got my notes here. Of course, we're going to be looking at Four Seasons official website, AllMusic, and Wiki for your source material today. So, we go off here. Our people, of course, Frankie Valli, Tommy DeVito, Bob Gaudio, and Joe Long. And Bob Gaudio and Jake Holmes wrote this album. That's right. And of course there's other additional musicians. This was produced by Bob Crew. Alright. In June of 1968, the 45 Saturday's Father, which is on this album, made it to 103 on the charts. There would end up being a 45, of course, coming from this release after the release, Idaho, and Something's on Her Mind. Idaho made it to number 95 on the charts, and Something's made it to 98. This concept album on American life at the time, some of it being done in satire, but it really talks about issues like racism, broken families, and the youth at that time. So the late 1960s, okay? On a record collecting standpoint, before we go into the songs, a very interesting cover, if you will. This is your front, this is your back. Alright. This is done, of course, like a newspaper, which, you know, this concept beat out thick as a brick from Jethro Tull by 3 years. And you're going to have pretty much mixed in with the stories that are the fake stories that are here, the titles of the songs here, and of course Four Seasons edition. See, it's kind of funny. I honestly think. Let's see if I can get this back in there. Good. And then of course let me show you the record. Like I said, on the record collecting standpoint, which will be on, excuse me, the Phillips label. Okay, so, and George sent me a wonderful copy of this. You know, seriously, great shape on that album. All right, let's dig into the meat and potatoes of this thing. So, Genuine Imitation Life Gazette, like I said, came out January 1969. We start out with track 1, American Crucifixion. Now this is what I wrote, all these little comments here. Great start here about the current state of the nation and how some people felt about the leadership, which of course back then would have been President Nixon. Yeah, President Nixon. Yeah, he just got elected. So it might be the President Johnson and then getting into the Nixon administration on this. My favorite track off of here is actually track 2. It's ear candy to me. Mrs. Staley's Garden. I love it, and like I said, it's current ear candy. That's what I wrote. from Mrs. Staley's Garden. I really like that one. We go into track 3, Look Up, Look Over. Starts and sounds a little like Simon and Garfunkel. Beautiful song with wonderful harmonies. Track 4, Something's on Our Mind. Frankie with a great vocal. Harmonies are very nice with bits of ragtime piano and unusual percussion with a little wah-wah pedal at the end. Track 5, the first single off of this Saturday's Father. As I previously mentioned, June '68 came out. It's a cool tune with snippets of kids at play also. Once again, only charted to 103. My opinion, at least, should have been in the top 50. Seriously, I could have seen that. Track 6, Wall Street Village Day. A moving, bouncy tune about, I think, how people act and pretend in life in the public's eye. Track 7, Genuine Imitation Life. A slow burner on people's falseness and hypocrisy. Track 8, Idaho. Love the harmonies on this song, which I think is a parody of something you would have heard in the 1920s. As part of the lyrics say, for simpler times than Santa Claus and applesauce indeed. Track 9, Wonder What You'll Be. A nice, beautiful song about a parent wondering what their child's going to be like in the future. But until then, as it says in the lyrics, I'll make the most of every day and hold you in my arms. I think people that are parents already out there understand that one anyway. And then we close off with the track number 10, Soul of a Woman. A really great way to end this album about a woman's journey, falling in love, having a family, aging, and then death. Very, very interesting and insightful and truthfully a beautiful record, okay? I am a Four Seasons fan. Not like George, mind you. He loves that minutia and he knows a lot. But I'll have to confess, this is the first time I ever heard this record. I barely knew of its existence. And it was pleasantly surprised. I was pleasantly surprised by this record. Like I said, it's a beautiful record. Frankie and company do really, really good. The harmonies on here are nice and tight. And just some wonderful instrumentation all throughout this record. I would say truthfully, seek this record out, okay? You will not be disappointed. There's bunches of it on YouTube as well. You can check that out. But for the afterword, so after this came out, Bob Gaudio and Jake Holmes together would work on the 1969 Frank Sinatra album Watertown. Sinatra supposedly heard bits of this and really liked the way it worked. I need to find that copy of Frank Sinatra's Watertown because now I want to listen to that thing. I'm told it didn't do real good in the charts for Frank, by the way, so I'll be kind of curious about that. The next album to come out after Genuine here, May 1970, Half and Half, which is alternates between Four Seasons and solo Frankie Valli material, only made it to 190 on the Billboard charts. Then we go to May 1972 with Chameleon, which is another record we may explore down the line on Mo West. That's right, the very short-lived Mo West label. And then you get back into the swing of things in November 1975. Gee, I can't talk today. On the Warner Brothers label, Who Loves You, with that famous title song, which of course the album makes it to number 38. So, Frankie Valli, Four Seasons, Genuine Imitation Life Gazette, seek this out. I think you'll be doing yourself a favor. Now, I know you're asking yourself, and maybe some of you aren't asking yourselves, what is the next episode of Shootbox from Hell? Well, we go forward about 17 years this time. one of my favorite bands. Seriously, one of my favorite Illinois bands. Unfortunately, the mid-'80s were not too kind to this band. Well, let's just spit it out. We're going to be looking at the Cheap Trick album, The Doctor, from 1986. That's right, on Epic Records. Here's the front, here's the back, and this will be next episode on Jukebox from Hell. So, in the comments, kindly go up and mention, are you a Four Seasons fan? Did you end up getting this thing when it first came out? I do remember hearing stories about how this ended up being in bunches of different cutout bins back in the late 60s, early 70s. Maybe you guys can tell me that too. What future episodes would you suggest for Jukebox from Hell? I would love to have. I've got maybe most of the season already locked in, but I still have a little wiggle room for 1 or 2 episodes. So everybody take care. God bless. Rock on. Always powered by coffee each and every time, which of course is the Psycho Promise. That's right. So take care, my friends. Till next time.